Yo, what's going on guys? So in today's commentary video, you're going to be watching a gameplay where I solo queue into elimination. It's something I don't do very often, but I just felt like I'm doing it, kind of a bit of a challenge, not having teammates that you can communicate with. But I kind of want to just go over what I went through throughout this game, the emotions I went through, my game plan, and basically try and do my best to win the game for the team. So first, the class I'm using is Voidwalker on the Warlock. I'm running a tier 5 Int Dis build, kind of a different build for a Warlock, but it is very important. The reason I run Int Dis instead of this strength as I usually do is because having max intellect obviously allows you to get your super as much as possible. And in a game mode like elimination, having your super as often as possible is a huge advantage. It just lets you a free round essentially if you use it correctly. And yeah, so at this stage you can see that both our teamers are down and it's basically 1v3. What I'm doing right now is basically trying to get an angle on my opponent, watching all my sight lines so they can shot from the side. I get a nice headshot there on that guy, so I use this orb as kind of a vantage point to see where the other enemies are. You can see I use this car to my left here as sort of cover, so I can see top street as well as also courtyard, so I can see from both sides if they're going to hardscope me or not. Now right here I see this guy poke out, so I hardscope and get the easy kill. But right here this guy does spot me from top and he's able to pick me off. The mistake that I did there was I should have hid behind the car instead of sliding out. That's just a mistake on my part, but it was a good play from him to predict where I was going to be. So I guess one of the best pieces of advice I can give for solo queuing elimination, 1v3ing, or just carrying in trials or any game mode in general is you want to get a lot of different angles. You don't want to peek the same angle twice as I just did there. I was able to get a snipe, but peeking out again, that guy knew I was going to be there, so he was able to pick me off. My teammate does get me a revive here, so immediately I run to apartments to try and get a different angle. You want to get a different angle and not poke the same spot every single time because the enemy is going to expect you to be there. So right here, as you can see, this guy is expecting me to be top stairs, but I'm not. I rotate around the map and we get the kill. And this guy just tries running for a revive and I pick him off. So yeah, as I said, one of the most important things while playing this kind of game is constantly rotating around the map, trying to isolate your opponents and basically make it so you get your opponent one-on-one rather than 1v2 or 1v3, just so it's the easiest, best way for you to win your engagements. Now right here, instead of going to the left as I did in the last few rounds, I go to the right and I try to stick to my teammates just so I can back them up with some cover fire. So right here I'm heading towards top sniper's perch to try and get an angle. I peek out for a second and I see someone back there, but I don't peek the same angle again. Instead I go inside and try and get a different angle. That is because he would be hardscoping that spot, as I said before. You don't want to double peek the same spot twice, so you want to move around and get a different angle. So right here, I am able to see him, he doesn't see me, but his teammate does charge into me and able to pick me off with a shoulder charge, which is very unfortunate. So right here, it's up to my teammates to clutch around. You can see the guy from the far side, he's doing what is really good. He does get a pick right there, but he's able to get picked up by the enemy in return. So right here, what I would recommend if you're the last guy in setting like this guy here, you don't crouch around the corner such as that. You do want to push for the revive. He did have the opportunity there to get the revive, but he played very passive and it ended up costing us the round, which is fine because the game is still early, so we can just bounce back from that. So this next round here, again, instead of going left or right, I changed my angle again, and this time I hardscoped the middle of lane. I saw someone run to the left, as you can see there, just a tiny little bit, so I end up pushing to the left to try and isolate him to see if he's by himself, as I do right now. So right here you can see that my teammates have run off by themselves, and ideally I would want to stick with them, but seeing as this guy is by himself, I do want to get the pick. So right here I see his little head just poke out a little bit, just right there, and instead of challenging one-on-one, instead what I do first is check the left church to make sure that there's no one from the sides to shoot me. So as I see that there's no one there, I push up one-on-one and I am going to get the kill as he jumps in the air, leaving him at a huge disadvantage. So right here I can see in my kill feed that my teammates just got revives and also got a kill, so I can tell that the enemies are mid-street with them. So with that I push in and I am able to isolate this last guy by himself as my teammate keeps pushing back, and it is an easy round win for my teammates because simply you don't want to do that often, but I did bait my teammates a little bit there. I just allowed them to act as the lure for the other guy to come in, and I was able to shoot them from behind, which is ideal. Now for this next round, it does go around for a little bit, so I will fast forward to the part where I am last guy in standing, so I'll be able to go through the 1v3 scenario and how I deal with it. So from the beginning of this round, after rotating the map a lot, my teammates did end up dying around bottom of mid street, so I do rotate to the top heavy where I get an angle on the opponent there. I do get hit, so my first instinct is to back off as to not get body shot again, and I'm forced to use my nerve bomb there as I would have risked being shoulder charged. I would have preferred to save it for a bigger multi kill, but I have to use it there. So right here this guy pushes in by himself. There's a big mistake on his part. You don't never push yourself in a 1v2 scenario because obviously you want to push them together as a team, but as everyone here is solo queuing, that is a mistake you can make, and I did use that to my advantage. So I know that the last guy here is at the top kiosk, so I do just keep my lines on it just so he can't move anywhere. so if he wants to push me, I am able to do a quick piece of damage on him just to pick him off. I move here to get a different angle because obviously you don't want to script the same angle the whole time. I do see him there and I chuck a nade to try and prime him, but of course he just runs away. And I rotate again and I try and bait him for the res, which I did, and get the res snipe here. And something like that, it is kind of a split-second decision. I knew that he was a warlock, just picking in and out. I could tell he was a warlock, and you always have to be aware for the self-res. Even if you're playing Trials of Osiris in a team, you do have to be aware that any warlock will pop at any time. It's easy to forget what subclass they can be, especially if it's fast-paced. You kind of lose track, but if you do kill a warlock and you get him down by himself, it is important just to scope the orb just in case of a self-res. So next is the heavy round. Nothing really exciting, it is heavy round after all. I am using machine gun because I forgot to transfer a rocket launcher prior to the game, but you know, it is what it is. So right here I just try and get an angle for the courtyard, but seeing that the one is there, I push up with my machine gun. Now this spot is a very hot spot for this map in terms of heavy. So right here I try to bait him. I thought he had a rocket, so he didn't really waste much with a couple of machine gun bullets. Because a lot of people would just shoot the top stairs, expecting you to come. That's just a common piece of knowledge that you get from playing the game a lot. So with experience you learn that kind of thing. So right here I see an enemy is down, so again I push up, try to bait the rocket, which I did. But instead of pushing him there with the nade that he just threw, and have just a bad angle for me to push with the machine gun compared to a rocket launcher, I go around the side, and then I'll pick someone off there. Now this last guy is standing 1v1, he just pushed for the res, so I must push for the res as well, because if I don't, it does become a 1v2 and he does have a rocket, so that will leave me at a huge disadvantage. So right here I just keep backing off because I know that he might still have a rocket, but he did the mistake of trying to push in with a shoulder charge, and my teammate was able to pick off the other guy with a super. So that's a pretty straightforward heavy round. I think nothing really special really happened there. So finally for the last round, for the last couple of rounds you can see that I tried to stay with my teammates, but things happened and I had to separate from them just to isolate my opponents. You can see from the beginning of that round just there, I did see someone at bottom church. I wasn't able to get a pick, so obviously you just dip out immediately. You don't want to pick again just in case they do hard scope. Chances are they might not hard scope, but you don't really want to take that risk, because if they are a god sniper you don't really want to deal with that. So as my teammates died here, I rotated straight back to my teammates because I knew they needed help, because it is a team game and you want to play the revive. I am able to get a pick here and I'm forced to use a Nova Bomb just so I can get the revive. So right here I hesitated just for a second because I thought he might have survived my Nova Bomb, so I was kind of like, oh no, what's going to happen? But he didn't, he did die from a Nova Bomb, and I am going to team shot the last guy with my teammate. So yeah, that is a solo elimination game. So one thing, or a couple of things you need to take out of this is, one, rotating the map, getting different angles, staying together with your teammates and prioritizing revives, and just trying to isolate your opponents, getting into 1v1 so you can more easily win your engagements. Some pretty common knowledge for people who are more experienced, but for those that aren't as accustomed to trials or this time of game mode, hopefully you learned something from it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.